What?
Shlomo to give a share. I would tell him that this was the best. And he said, okay, what did I say? I said, I don't know. I just know how I felt.
Oh, right, exactly. Did you hear me say a bracha? Did I already drink from this water or I didn't? I don't remember. Did anybody? I didn't? Okay, no, okay, so
I didn't hear one.
Okay, which means I didn't say it, so now I'm going to say it. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'akol nהיה b'dvaro. Okay, so here it's Rav Kook on Ade Lo Yada. Ade Lo Yada, to get to the point of not knowing anything, not realizing that we don't know. How was last night, by the way? You went?
I stayed at home and listened.
Oh, so I didn't listen to it yet.
Because the singing was too much. So glad I didn't go in person.
Right, I know, that's why it's too late. Monday, I have to be in a good mood. Sorry, I have to just plug something in. And
if you plug it into the thing on the floor, then you couldn't have it.
I don't need it.
This is just a charge?
Yeah, I'm just charging something. Okay, here. Okay, so welcome at home, welcome around the table. B'ezrat Hashem, here it is. I need to get my right glasses here. Hold on. Okay, so maybe I can try this without my glasses for now. Let's see how it works. Okay, so it's an article called Ade Lo Yada. Ade Lo Yada lech knos et kol hayudim. Ade Lo Yada means to get to that place of, I understand that I know nothing, and it's all Hashem, and I'm happily giving it over all to Hashem because I know nothing. That's the best place in the world to be. It's such a shichrur, right? It's such a relief, not feeling the pressure that I have to know anything, because I don't need to know anything. I just need to know that Hashem is in charge, and I have to get out of His way as much as possible. That's just me talking. That's not Rav Kook yet. And then lech knos et kol hayudim. Go gather up all the Jews, and that's what he called this article. Amar Rabbi Abba. He's quoting now. He starts the Ma'amar by quoting the Megillah, not Megillah Esther, Masechet Megillah, Gemara Megillah. Amar Rabbi Abba, said Rabbi. No, not Rabbi Abba. Rava. I'm sorry. I'm excited. I have to calm down. I'm too excited. I'm hyper. Shh, calm down. Okay.
I like this mood of yours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every so often it comes out.
You're ready for
I don't know what I'm ready for, but okay. Amar Rava. Rava said, Michayev inish levesume bepuria ad lo yada bein arur Haman levaruch Mordechai. Okay, so a person is obligated to drink levesume. I want to talk to you about this word. Let me finish translating first. A person has to do this act of levesume, which usually we understand to be intoxicated, bepuria, and on Purim, ad lo yada, to the point of you have to get intoxicated to the point where you get to this place of ad lo yada that you don't know what bein arur Haman levaruch Mordechai, between cursed is Haman and blessed is Mordechai. The whole article is gonna be about this. I love the word levesume, because levesume, there's a Hebrew word in Lashon Kodesh that means to get drunk, which is lishtaker, to become a shikor, right?
That's not what we want to do.
No, well, we want to be intoxicated. Now you can get intoxicated and you can get drunk, also not just on wine. But usually when we hear the word drunk, shikor, we think like, okay, alcohol. But levesume has the word in it of besamim. We want to be fragrant. We want to be fragrantful. We want to be so fragrant that we come. I'm just thinking out loud here. You can take it wherever you want, but it's an interesting concept. We want the smell to be good. We want the smell to be intoxicating. Okay. On Purim. Okay, now that's me. I'm stopping to be me, and I'm going now to Rav Kook. B'mei Purim ha'elef. What?
I was just going to say, we want to smell so good that when Mashiach comes, we will smell good for Mashiach.
Yeah, because Mashiach smells.
Right.
That's why
the
sense of smell.
To be smelling good.
We have to smell good. Of this. I can do a whole shear just on smell. Actually, I did once upon a time, a few times, did a whole shear on smell. But okay, anyway, I'm not going to go there. I'm trying to discipline my mind right now. It's very hard. My mind is not being very disciplined. Okay. Bimei hapurim haele, in these Purim days, bishot kashot halalu, שיסורים מקיפים וממלאים את כלל ישראל. הגוי כולו צרות, רבות מבחוץ. We'll be speaking about our time. It's so sad that almost every kufa that would be reading this would be like, he's talking about our time. But we know that he's talking about our time because what he just said is, in these Purim days, in these harsh hours, these hard hours of suffering that surround us and fill Klal Yisrael, the whole nation of Israel, all of us, tsarot, tsuris, rabot mibachutz, lots of troubles that are coming at us from outside. And more sorrowful, more greater than the troubles that we get from our enemies outside, are the tzarot, are the pnimi tzarot that we have within our own, within ourselves, within our own nation. That's greater. The tzarot, the troublesome times, that the pnimius that we have internally with ourselves. Nashevet shalom habayit etzlenu, shalom beit Yisrael nizkorna et hayamim halalu u'morotehem kmo shem ktuvim lefanenu b'megillat Esther. Because we seem to be missing a bit of the shalom bayit that we're supposed to have. Shalom bayit in the house of Israel. And we have to remember these days and their events, the days of Purim and their days, as they are written in Megillat Esther, to help us with that. Asher beruach HaKodesh Nemar, that was written with divine inspiration, Megillat Esther. Veruach HaKodesh omed hu mimal lechol chalifot haitim milemala shelechol shinui v'tachsisim shel hadorot. And Ruach HaKodesh, this divine inspiration, stands above all of the different changes of times. It's eternal. Something is written Baruch HaKodesh. It means it stands true throughout all the generations. The changing of times throughout history doesn't affect the words that were written in Ruach HaKodesh because they apply even to you today. Okay. And the eternal words of Esther that said, Lech knos et kol hayudim, go gather up all the Jews. These words of Esther, Lech knos et kol hayudim, go gather up all the Jews, must give us life, enliven us again, and to raise up from our loneliness. Okay, hold on. So you get so far what he said? These are eternal words that we need to go back to because they are the ones that are eternally ring true even to us, and we have to attach ourselves to them and we have to allow them to inspire us and lift us up. But now somebody can ask. Now this is something that exactly, it's like out of Rav Teichtel's book. I went crazy when I read this. What did he say? Now you'll remember what he said after you hear what Rav Kook is saying. For sure, somebody who knows how to ask will ask. And also, remember in the Haggadah, there's Mishay Noideh Lishol, and those who know how to ask from the four sons. And this is the question: Haytachen, is this possible now? You're telling us, Lech knos et kol hayudim, go gather up all the Jews? Keitzad tachnis b'kfifachat, how can you gather up all of the different types of Jews in one framework? He said that, right? It's like, how do you even get all the Jews to come together on one mitzvah? No, the past two weeks that we did, the past two times that we met with Rav Teichtel, this is exactly the question that he addressed, and then he came up with with the novel, not so novel, but his answer that's in the sources, gather up around one mitzvah, it should be the mitzvah of Yishuv Eretz Yisrael. But listen to what he says here. How do you get together? How do you bring together so many different Jews? Et kol siutehem, et kol miflagotehem. All of their different, all of the different parties that they belong to, all of the different agendas they each one carry. They're so different. Ketzad yeshuvu ha'atzamot ha'pzurot al pnei kol bigot ha'kulut ha'chava. How can we gather up all of the bones? Remember, even Rav Tefta spoke about the dry bones, Nevuah of Yecheskel. How can we bring back all of the atzamot, all of the bones that are scattered all over the world, over all the valleys and everywhere in Galus, wide expanse of Galus, all over the globe. Hagalut hachomrit v'hagalut haruchanit, the spiritual Galus and the physical Galus. How can you expect all of the Jews that are holding so many differences between them, agendas and political associations and everything like that, all over the globe, how can you expect them to gather one next to each other? Go gather all the Jews. So how can you bring all of those elements together to become one structure called Klal Yisrael, the collective of the Jewish people, Klal Yisrael, that is standing to in demand of its immunity, its life force, to come back to it, and to return his returnees. I don't know what that means. Shivat shivuto, to return to where it's supposed to be returned to. Af atay emola, and you, again, he's borrowing the language from the Gemara, at emola, right? The one who doesn't know how to ask, or the Tam who does ask, af at emola, you tell him, shapizur hazeh, that this scattering, Gama chumri v'gama ruchumi, the scattering, this physical scattering and the spiritual scattering, yesh lanu mekom echad shesham einenu yachol lishlot aleinu. There was one place that the effect of being scattered spiritually and physically, there's one place that the effect of that scattering doesn't have any control over. Now remember what Rav Tefta said, that nature has a way to come back to itself. The natural state of the Jews is to be united, and the unnatural state is to be scattered. And so from that fact that our natural state and nature likes to go back to itself, it's true to itself always. I don't know why this came into my head. My brain is really doing monkey business with me. Like there's an expression, a leopard doesn't change its spots.
A leopard stripes.
Stripes. Leopard has spots. Tiger doesn't change its stripes.
You can't teach an old dog new tricks. That's another version.
Yeah, I think it's okay. But okay, so you can't change. So you can paint a leopard or can paint a tiger, but eventually the stripes and the spots of a leopard and a tiger will show itself up because that's who it is, right? So the Jewish people, we're one. We're one neshama. One even physical entity. We just look like an illusion of being separate bodies, but really we're one. And so this scattering is like we have a built-in immunity against the effects of this scattering. It's amazing how Rav Techtel and Rav Kook, now that we're gathering now, Purim is like really picking up exactly where we left off in the book. It's amazing. Okay, so now you tell them, if somebody says, how could we gather up all of these Jews with all these agendas all over the globe? Some different says no. There's this scattering, the spiritual and physical separateness that seems to be plaguing the Jewish people. There is one place. We have one place. Shesham, that in that place, that nobody can be in control over us. But then you can ask, but we see the internal problems that we have in our nation. We see the tzara hapnimit ha'ayuma, this horrible tzara pnimit. How would you translate? What's a good strife, internal sorrow, internal problem. How Jews are getting up against other Jews. Never mind about the enemies from without. But we have Jews fighting each other.
We had a Jew who was fined for Iran.
Yeah, it's horrible.
Yeah, so that's pretty bad.
It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. And all the fighting and all the shouts and stuff. If you ever go into the Knesset channel and you see how it's like horrible.
But was there ever a time where that didn't exist?
But if you read through the Megillah, at the end of the Megillah, yeah, it gets to that. We were like that in Ma'amad Har Sinai. We were like that in the time of Shlomo HaMelech. We were like that at the Purim story by the end of it. And it lasts so long as it lasts, and then the troubles come again. And we look forward to the time where the truth of the unity that and the love that we have for each other and the care and responsibility that we have with each other will be the story, will be the long-lasting story. And the chapter that will follow that story won't be, and we slip back to bad behavior again. That's the gula. That's what we're looking towards.
That I understand, but like this ideal way of Israel to like function, right?
Yeah,
to be this like great, connected, beautiful, cohesive, loving nation, loving within itself, loving of others. But
do you hear her at home, you guys? Do you hear? Here, just speak into the. Go ahead, Sarah. Okay, go.
Yeah. So I'm just like, I kind of don't even know if that's ever existed in the history of humanity. And even like, you said it existed at Har Sinai, but like, no, it didn't. There was like factions that like worshiped the golden calf.
No, that was after the Ma'amad Har Sinai. Then they slipped. 40 days later, they slipped.
They said, "Na'aseh
No, at Ma'amad Har Sinai, when we got the Torah, they were united. And Moshe went missing for 40 days, and they went crazy. He went crazy. We can't handle this. We need a Moshe Rabbeinu. What is this? Couldn't hold on. Now, but we got it and we didn't get it, but we regained some of it on Purim story. But I want to tell you that I'm feeling very, very hopeful. Why? You're feeling very hopeful? And I'll tell you why I'm feeling very hopeful, and you can tell us why you're feeling very hopeful. I'm feeling very hopeful because we hear Hamas saying that when our Shvuim, our precious women, all of them should come back and this whole story should be over, Bezrat Hashem, and it should turn out to be the happiest story ever being told, just like the horribleness of the Megillah story that turned on its head, and we saw the hands of Hashem and everything. For sure it's there, we just don't see it now. But we should come to the end of this parsha called whatever's going on around in Gaza now and the captives, and it should be revealed for the good Bezrat Hashem. Amen. But we hear the captives coming back, the redeemed captives from Gaza, and they're telling us that they heard the Hamas that were holding them there saying, "We can do this to you because you're not united." And we know that when you're united, there's no force that can do this to you. It's your disunity that brought this on you. Now, why am I comforted by this? Because if they're saying it, it's the time for it. We're so close to revealing the truth that we're really united. I don't know if I said that correctly. You know what I'm saying? Like the enemies throughout we hear Chazal tell us, listen to what your enemies are telling you. And that's the tshuva that you have to do. So first of all, we're not talking enough about the Beis HaMikdash. We're not aching for the Beis HaMikdash because they have Al-Aqsa there all the time. They want, okay? And second of all is they're telling us, you have to be united. We can do this horrible things to you because you're not united. And if that's the message that those are the two messages that the enemies are telling us now, it means we are very close to the base of Mikdash, and we're very close to coming to this scenario of being really united. Because that's what the enemies are talking about now. And which means this is what we have to rise to very closely, because that's the agenda right now. And but your question, Ha'ir, right? You know what? I have a daughter on a Yishuv, and my granddaughter, her best friend is Ta'il from next door.
Nice.
She has a Ta'il. It's like it's an unusual name. It's not like you don't come across it so often. But okay, it's beautiful. May your light shine. Okay. For all of them, so now what your question is exactly how he's starting this whole mimer here. Like, is it but I still see you on the screen. That's so cute. Okay, I have to get back. Yeah, so beautiful. So beautiful. Okay, good. We got Cynthia like in person here now.
I had to come for
Baruch Hashem. Now listen. Now your question is exactly his question. How is it possible? Has it ever been possible? What did it ever happen? It's exactly you got his question, because now he's going to address it. I mean, basically what you're asking is, how is it possible? Was it ever possible? But did it ever happen? So now he's saying, so we see all the internal strife that we have amongst us Jews. How brothers turn to one another, against one another, like wolves, like snakes. And how could you say, go gather up all the Jews? Then he goes further, he says, and anyone who says that Haman spoke a lie, when Haman of Russia spoke a lie when he said there is one nation that is scattered and divided, right? Yesh am echad, yeshno am echad mefuzar umfurad. There is, now the Chassidus on this is yeshno means they're sleeping, and yeshenim, they're sleeping. No, because all of the, like what happened with October 7th, Simchat Torah, they were sleeping. Where were you? You were sleeping. They were sleeping after all of the protests and the strife and the Hafganot and then they fell asleep because there really was division and divisiveness and hate, like wolves and snakes against each other. And then October 7th happened, and he's saying here, Haman HaRasha said, Yeshno am echad mefuzar umfurad. There is one nation, mefuzar umfurad, scattered and divided. And somebody who says that Haman was making that up, he says, no, he wasn't making it up. Like Haman was speaking spot on. Be'emet mefuzar umfurad hu ha'am echad. Really, scattered and divided is this one nation. Aval bechol ze am echad. But within all of this, Rav Kook is choosing to focus on the words Am Echad. We are Am Echad, we are one nation. That is our natural state, and not, but they are divided and scattered. But they're Am Echad. Multitude of nations stuck together. You follow what he's saying? B'Shem Tomar. Because Haman, he picked up on the scattered and divided, but he also picked up on that we're one nation. I said that correctly now, right? I hit the, right? He picked up on the scattered and the divided, but he also picked up on the fact that we are one nation. He picked up on both things. And the worst is in narcissists, that they pick on the weakness of the person and they drill it and they make it and they make the victim of the narcissism believe the weakness, the lie of the weakness. You are stupid. Who would love you? All of those things, right? You're divided. Right, I'm divided. Nobody likes me. I'm gonna eat some worms now because that's all I'm worth doing, worthy of doing. That's evil because they're picking up on the flaw, but at the same time, listen to what he's saying. Am echad, right? באמת מפוזר ומפורד הוא עם אחד, אבל בכל זה עם אחד הוא. בשם התאמר, איך ייתכן שיהיו שני הפכים בנושא אחד? And then you can say, but how could you have two opposites in one subject? How can both be true? How can it be one nation and also be divided and scattered? עם אחד מצד אחד, one nation on one hand, ומפוזר ומפורד מצד שני, scattered and divided on the other hand. Don't be so like shocked by this. Don't. Yeshnam playing bolam. There are wonders in the world. Opposites exist, coexist. You can have both. They're not mutually exclusive. And this nation, that all of its standing in this world is merupedet, means upholstered, is covered, is upholstered. Its whole essence and standing in this world is from this thing called pilei plot, of wonders of wonders. They want to kill us, we don't die. They want to exterminate us, they get lost in history. There's no existence in them, and yet we survive. Our whole existence is a pele. Is one big, tremendous contradiction that we don't seem to have any reason to be existing for all of what the world has put us through, and what we put ourselves through with assimilation and everything like that. Pilei plot, hu mar'eh biyoto gam ken et hapele hazeh. And all these wonders that helped us remain standing and surviving throughout everything, teaches us also about this wonder that we are one nation and we're scattered and we're divided amongst ourselves. Yet despite the fact that we're divided and divisiveness amongst ourselves, in its essence, in its essential essence, we are am echad. Lamrot mashu mefuzar umfrad, despite all of this scattering and being scattered and divided. Emet hadavar shemachalatenu agdolah. He calls this, you know what he calls this, being scattered and divided? Our great sickness, our great disease that plagues the Jewish people. Emet hadavar, it is true. The machala, our sickness, the great sickness that we have, machalat hagalut, the machala of galus, calls it a disease. Bein machalat hagalut shebefoal shenitcha aleinu bimlo ze'afa. Bein machalat hagalut shebekoach shelifefa otanu me'az. Okay, this disease called galus, this machla, whether we're talking about galus, actual galus that we were thrown into with its full force of its anger, thrown out of the land, and all of the consequences of that, bad consequences of that, whether we're talking about this sickness, this disease called galus that's in potential, that's always there, kind of hovering us, like enveloping us. Asher el yada ba aleinu hakatastrofa hagalutית, ומפני חטאינו גלינו מארצנו ונדרחקנו מעל מעתנו. That through this thing called this thing that envelops us, that through its catastrophic effect of this galus that came upon us because of the מפני חטאינו גלינו מארצנו, because of our sins, we have been exiled from our land. and we have been distant from our land. You know, when we say this, every musaf of regalim, every musaf of the shalosh regalim. This is a thing that envelops us, covers, like kind of is the veneer that covers us and makes us scattered and divided. Our sins and being forced into exile. The enemies that just came and plucked us out of here and threw us out. But Netzach Yisrael Lo Yeshaker, but the eternity of Israel does not lie. There's an eternity to Am Yisrael, to the Jewish people. Lo Yeshaker, that does not lie, which means there's an emet to it, and emet has long lastingness. Gemara, when we speak about emet v'sheker, sheker, they say en lo raglayim. Sheker has no legs to stand on, but we mean there's no permanence. It can be there for a small amount of time. It can do its damage and its effect, but it's not long lasting. Emet is long lasting, and the Gemara, and it's. I'm just going to show you. I'm not so smart, but certain things I know. Gemara Shabbat 104a. Okay, Kuf Daled Al. Okay. I know this because I taught Aleph Bet, and that whole page speaks about the Aleph Bet. And when it gets to like Emet v'Shekel, so it speaks about there that the letters of Emet, Aleph, Mem, Tav, the first letter, the middle letter, and the last letter of the alphabet. The word truth in Hebrew is made up of the big Aleph, Mem is the middle letter, and Tav is the last letter. And also those letters are stable letters structurally. Aleph has two legs to stand on, Mem has a base to stand on, Tav has two legs to stand. It's stable and it spans all time. So there's an eternity to it, as opposed to Sheker, which are three letters in the Hebrew alphabet that are close together at the end of the Hebrew alphabet, mixed up. It's Kuf Resh Shin. Sheker is Shin Kuf Resh. Because to say a lie, it has to be close-knit. But each one of those letters has only one spitzy leg to stand on, a kuf, not stable. Shin, the way it's written in the Torah is like a mishulash. It's like it's a point. It's not written the way we write it, and there's no base to it. That's how we write it. Okay? But in the Torah, it's a spitz, and the reish is also a spitz. So it's unstable. For the lie to be believable, it has to be tight knit, it has to be close together. Ultimately, it's going to topple over. Okay, so but Netzach Yisrael Lo Yeshaker, the Netzach, the eternity of Israel, is emet. It's not sheker. Now I lost my place here. Netzach Yisrael Lo Yeshaker. Hagalut im kol narotea, galus with all of its horribleness. All its awfulness, muchrach sheketz yavoletz. There's going to be an end to it. Because why? Because it's sheker. Why is it sheker? Because our place is not in Galus, our place is Eretz Yisrael. Sheker means lie. Lie. Emet is truth. Sheker is a lie. Also, lie. Shin Kuf Resh. Okay, so now, what's the emet? There's a Jewish people that's undivided. We're Amichai. Eretz Yisrael is our place. It's emet. That's why we keep coming back to it. Okay, that's why we keep coming back to it, because it's our natural homeland. Okay, hold on. Is she coming? Okay, good. Welcome. All right. How you doing? What's your name? You looked for us yesterday, couldn't find us? What's your name?
My name's Leah Krinsky.
Oh, hold on. A name sounds familiar. We messaged each other. Oh, you messaged me. I did. Did I get an email from you? You sent an email to Shevach? Okay, good.
Yeah,
Anyway,
looking to keep busy.
welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, good. So I'm sorry we're in the middle, so you just have to gonna pick up and go with the flow. If you have questions, you can ask, but we're gonna just continue. So Netzach is a Hagalut, Galus with all of its awfulness has to have an end to it. And when the time of the spirit, Haruach Hagadol, when the great spirit will come from all the four corners of the earth, bringing all the Jews back. מהמצוקות הסובבות אותנו מעבר מזה ומהתגלות הנפשית הממלאת את קרבנו גם יחד לשוב ולהיבנות בארץ חיינו מעבר מזה. Okay, so when the great spirit will come from all four corners of the earth, from all of the troubles that surrounded us, and from that's going to take us away from that, and also from the revelation, the spiritual revelation that will fill us up, will fill us all our inside. Every Jew will be filled with this, gam yachad, together with that, to return and to build Eretz Yisrael, to have a life here. הננו קרובים להכיר כי ישנה תרופה גם למחלת הפיזור והפירוט שלנו. So here we can see, we are very close to recognize that there is a trufa, a medicine to this disease called being separated and scattered, mefuzar v'mefurad, of what Haman spoke about, that we are one nation that's scattered and divided, but there is a remedy to it. It's a sickness that sent us to be divided and to be divisive and to be like wolves and snakes against each other, and there's no unity. But there's also a trufa. There's a refuah. There's a medicine for that. V'sof kol sof am echad anachnu v'am echad niyeh. At the end of everything, we are one nation. Am echad anachnu v'am echad, and we will always be one nation. As Haman said, am echad mefuzar mefurad. He pointed out that we're scattered and divided. That's why he can decide that he's going to annihilate us because we're divided. But at the same time, he's expressing the one nation. To the truth of that we're one nation also came from his evil lips, Tuma lips. And at a certain point, the truth, because Netzach Yisrael Lo Yeshaker, the truth will always be established, will always come back to itself. There's
Well, I was gonna say it's also interesting, like this, like great ruach that's gonna bring us all back together. So, like energetically, things are like shifting, right?
Yeah.
But also at the same time, it's interesting, like ruach, because like we really did also come like conferring, right, on the wings of eagles to get back here.
Right.
You know, like we came back through air, most of us. You know,
You mean metaphorically?
Airplanes. Yeah.
So, yeah. This is you're quoting on Rav Kook, right?
This is all Rav Kook, okay? Okay, so now, hinenu krovim le'akir, so we are very close, because there's a revival of the spirit to come back to Eretz Yisrael. When Rav Kook was speaking in the 1920s, I guess he wrote this, something like that, I'm guessing. So there's the spirit of the need to come back and settle and build the land of Israel. And it's an ingathering of scattered people, because the Jews that came are from representatives from almost every nation around the globe. So there is a kibbutz galuyot. So this is like comforting and exciting that there is a trufa, there is a remedy for this being scattered. And the answer is, just like what Rav Tachtel was telling us this past few weeks, it's called Eretz Yisrael. It's called coming back and living in Eretz Yisrael. Because only here we can be Goy Echad Ba'aretz. That's what Rav Tachtel was said. But let's go back to Rav Kook. V'sof kol sof am echad anachnu v'am echad niyeh. At the end of everything, we are one nation, and one nation we will be. Ve'od hapam yakum Yisrael, and once again Israel will rise. Be'imarto hanitzchit, with its eternal speech that Esther said in the Megillah, Lech knos et kol hayudim. Go gather up all the Jews. It's so beautiful what he's doing here. I mean, it's so this class. I couldn't believe I found the Rav Kook to be exactly where I'm excited. Are you excited with me, like guys? Like you see this, like it's like amazing. But again, the big question, the big kashya, the big like seem to be like the big question that's going to topple this whole nice theory that comes up. Okay, hakushya gdola hi omedet. It comes and stands up. Aderech hagula, on the way to the gula, to the redemption, kikir barzel ve'even nekev, like a stumbling block, like an iron wall. We keep coming across it, banging into it, like an iron steel wall. Ve'even nekev, and a stumbling block. Harei sof kol sof hapizur ve'pirud ochel otanu bechol peh. But at the end of the day, after all these nice words have been said, we still see the scatteredness and the divisiveness that eats us from within. But now, again, from the language of the Gemara, but you answer. So if the Chacham asks, or the Rasha, or the Tam, or Sheinoi, ask these questions, you answer him. Lehisatem, to be blocked, to be relieved from this great question, Kikashem, or to haster, to be quiet from this question, Kikashem שהרפואה העצמית של הפרט משתמשת היא כבר למעשה ולחשוף מעיינות של עוצמה ושל בריאות מתוך האדם עצמו, מנפשו אל נפשו, מתוך הנפש הבלתי ידועה, התמירה ומכוסה כל כך עד שהאדם עצמו אינו מכיר את מהותו. It says something very deep about how medicine works within a person. כי כשם שהרפואה העצמית, just like, מה זה רפואה עצמית? Healing properties. We are built in with healing properties, right? Right, Judy? We are built in, we have built-in healing mechanisms. If we swallow something, ingest something no good, we'll vomit it out. It's a beautiful healing mechanism that God built us in. If we have mucus in our lungs, we'll cough it up. It's called phlegm. Cough it up, man. Spit it out. It's disgusting, but it's beautiful because we are built with a beautiful mechanism. Self-cleaning. You have a headache. It's an indicator. You need to hydrate yourself, drink something, or sleep, or you're too lacking this, that you're not eating healthy enough, or whatever, right? It's a built-in alerts and healing properties. And he's saying like this, just like private healing properties within an individual, is used already lemaise. Okay, I don't know how to. In practicality, לחשוף מעיינות של עוצמה, reveals מעיינות של עוצמה, springs of a power, of a force of power, ושל בריאות, and of health, מתוך האדם עצמו, from within the person themselves. We have these tremendous, powerful healing properties that we walk around with, but we don't pay attention to them. Because as soon as we cough, instead of saying, thank you, Hashem, for this cough, because I'm going to now spit up something that I shouldn't have in my system, I run to the doctor and say, I have a problem, I'm coughing. No, you don't have a problem, you're coughing. You're healthy, that's why you're coughing. You know what I'm saying? It's like we're powerhouses of these things. Briut mitoch adam, we have a health within ourselves. Minafsho and nafsho, from a person's soul to his own soul, nefesh to his own nefesh. There's a vital force within ourselves that is built in with its own healing properties. Mitoch hanefesh habirtita, from the nefesh, from the vital force called our soul within us that we're not even aware of. We don't pay attention to it. We take it for granted. It's not known to us. Hatmira, that is supernal, but covered. and hidden. Kolkach, so much it's hidden within a shadam atzmo, eino makir et mauto, so much so that a person doesn't even recognize his own essence. That we're walking with this powerful energy force called my soul that can heal itself. Yeah.
So just like everything you're reading, like we're not cognizant of that, right?
Right.
But at the same time, if we didn't understand that, like you cut and like you have a cut on your hand, right? Your body will like
Heal it.
back.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Tchiat meitim. Every day, every time we have a scab forming on a cut, it's tchiat meitim because there's dead cells that are now being rejuvenated.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
But imagine if it didn't, right? Imagine if our if we had a cut and it would never heal, right?
Horrible. There's a disease called like that. No, what's it called?
Right?
Hemophilia.
Right? We would never leave the house. Like if
Yeah.
we didn't heal, right? If we were to like, God forbid,
Right.
slip and we wouldn't get
Exactly.
better, we would never
So
leave.
he's saying exactly. So he's saying, but so the problem is we don't recognize it, and so when we see a disease, we think, I'm the disease. No, you're also the healing properties can get over the disease. But we focus on the being divisive and scattered and everything that's wrong with the Jewish people now, and there's so much strife and lack of achdut, and we don't see that we're also screaming for love and unity. We're screaming for that. That's why it bothers us. We're passionate about the other side not holding my opinion because I want to be one with you. I want to love you for heaven's sake. And we have to figure out how to get over that. That's Beyachad. It's so beautiful. Everything. This whole war is yes. Yeah. Absolutely. But I'm looking at the time and I want to get through this. Okay. מפני שידוע הוא שהמחלות הנפשיות ותוצאותיהן הגופניות אינן מקוננות אלא בצד הציבורית של האדם. It says, because it is known that the emotional, spiritual ailments and the results on the physical, right? Because our emotional, spiritual ailments show up on physical diseases, right? And the physical results of them on our bodies, einan mekanenot ela b'tzad, do not have the effect except on the external of man, not the essence of man. This is it attacks the visible aspects of who we are, the known side, dafka tzad pumbi, the public side, the famous side. You say, look at those Jews, they're constantly fighting with each other, and then we define ourselves by that instead of the essence underneath it. We identify with the problem and not with the solution that's there, if we would just allow ourselves to relax and get to that place, right? Because all of those elements that plague us, internal strife, that we're not united, it's just external stuff. But the hidden side of ours, the side that is not known to us, is always full of courage, full of life and force. And from the treasure of this health that's built into us, that's hidden with us, there is a lot of satisfaction there. There's a lot of satisfaction that can come and be mashpia and influence. And we can go to that hidden place, make it stop being hidden, and make that the thing that's coming out and spilling out of us. And that it should affect the known side of us, the public side of us, the side of us that says you're divided, you're not one, you hate each other, you don't really love each other. And the place inside, the internal place that says we love each other, has to come out. We have to bring it up and make that the conversation of the day. Because this public side of us is just an airiness and brings us to think that really we are sick and we're completely smashed up. But really, when in fact we are bal nefesh amitza, we are courageous souls, healthy, bria, umle'ah, and full and satiated, full of life and courage. ומה שנמצא בפרט, and what is is נמצא, what is found in the individual, נמצא הוא במידה הרבה יותר גדולה בחלל כולו. And if this is true, that we have this hidden to every person has this aspect to them in a private way, how much more so does it exist and its truth in the collective? Take all of the different souls making up the Jewish people, all the millions of people around the world, and you bring that all together, all the pnimius, the truth of that we're really one. You bring out that if that can come together, whoa, what a force that is. ובכלל ישראל בייחוד שסוף סוף באמת הוא עם אחד. And since in Klal Israel, at the end of the day, באמת, in truth, we are one nation. ומי כעמך ישראל גוי אחד בארץ. Who is like you, Israel, one nation on the land, which is exactly the pasuk that Rav Teichel has been saying for the past two sessions of ours. Now we have to just really admit our errors, that we think to describe ourselves in any other way other than Am Echad, Goy Echad Ba'aretz. Et Mahuta, we have to get over this mistake, this erroneous way, go back to the essence of the mahut of who we are, of our Judaism. We have to stop looking at the externals and go into the internal. Stop looking at what the public, the media would like to portray us as. This is just external, nothing, chaff that can be blown away. It's a lie. Has no permanence. And it's only because of that we have a fear, that we fall into fear of the external, but it's nothing to be feared because it's an illusion. We only judge based on all the scatteredness that we see and the divisiveness that we see. And also all the multitudes, all our enemies around the globe that would like to and love to see nothing else other than us fall from all our divisiveness, all our bickering and our bickering. And especially since during this transitional time. So Rav Kook spoke about transitional time in his time. And we are also in a transitional time. Really, mamash.
Same. Was he talking about Geula already?
No, yeah.
Or
It's always,
talking about like we're not usually
he's
when
talking
we're
about the Geula.
starting coming back to the
But for him, it was at his state. We're so much closer to the time that he was speaking about the Geula. It's talking about the same thing. He was taking events that were happening in his time and all the infighting that was there, the religious against the and like secular Zionists and whatever the story was there. And now we're having our own scenarios between the right and the left, and channel 12 and channel 14 and whatever channels that you or whatever. Hem tofsim et hatzad hachalash. All they want is to grab onto hatzad hachalash, the weak side of us, because that is our public side. That's what makes it to the news. And what is known. But if we just allow ourselves to be like shaken from this, and they like to shake us, to jolt us with that, to make us feel it's all over. But we should have to come, and we have to come back to the belief that we have a nefesh klalit bilti yedua, that we have a collective soul and an inner soul that is less known, but is there and is more true than anything else. Nefesh amitit, a true nation, a true nefesh. So gdola, great, asher anachnu hesachnu, that we don't give our mind to thinking about it. And it is great with otzma, with power. And it has the power to establish us on our feet, to renew our life, like as it was before. and velamod gam keneged kol minei Amalekim, and to stand against all kinds of Amalekites that wants to just attach to our weak points and be that our undoing. The first time we met Amalek, it's exactly like that, right? After we left Mitzrayim, it happened with Haman also, and it's happening today. Attacking the weak points. You're divided. You don't get along. You'll never amount to anything other than just always this bickering and an undivided, a divided people. Vayadut atmira, and the great, awesome Judaism. Habirti nodat gam lanu. This Judaism, this Yahadut, that's not even known to ourselves, because we haven't even begun to scratch the surface of the power of what our soul is holding on to, of the health that's there for the whole world, the briut, the unity. It will be known to us in these great days that are, and within these days of Purim, let it shine forth and come, and this beautiful words of come, gather up all the Jews, and we have to recognize and make precious from these days of Purim until the next Purim, that's coming to for all the generations, this great treasure. We have to make it known, this great treasure that is resting within us. Ashreinu v'osher chayenu, that is our, Ashreinu with an aleph, that is our not only prosperity, but our biggest joy and happiness and reason for satisfaction. V'sgulat am echad shelanu tenatzeach et kol hatzad shel hamefazer. And this sgula, this ability that we have, this truth of being one nation, will overcome all of the divisiveness and all our scatteredness. When we talk kol goalim, and through all of the ones that are redeemed, hapodim ve'ohavim, all the ones who are kol goalim, and all of the redeemers that come along the way, and those that bring us out of captivity. Hashem shmor tzad. Okay, and Bezrat Hashem, okay, ve'ohavim, and all the people who love us. Umitoch kol ha'mishabdim, hamukarim v'asonim, and within all of the context of those that want to subjugate us and hate us, mitoch kol mo'otzotehem, from all of their strength of hate that they come at us, against us. Yoshev b'shamayim yischak, the one who sits in heaven will laugh, because he's telling a story, just like in the Megillah story. We're going through the Megillah story and we're afraid, oi, what's going to happen? Oi, what's going to happen? Oi, Esther was taken to the palace. Oi, Haman wants to do this for us. Oi, this, oi, that. And meanwhile, Hashem is saying, oi, you have no idea, my children, what beautiful story I'm telling you. I'm in the midst, I'm in the middle of. And Bezrat Hashem, this should be our fate also. Bezrat Hashem, it should be revealed. Yoshev b'shamayim yischak la'amid lanu or. He is standing, he's in Shamayim to establish for us an or Yeshua, a light of redemption, Geulat olamim, a redemption that will be long-lasting, umitoch ha'mamad, and from this mamad, from this standing of ad lo yada, to the point that we get to the, like, what we need to get to in Purim, to get to a place of not knowing between the cursed Haman and blessed Mordechai, because now all of those horrible effects will be revealed as being part of the Geulah. We'll come to recognize through all of that, Bezrat Hashem, to find that Jew in us, the one that we have not yet met within us. And one brother will reveal himself, will confess, will make themselves known to his brother, and they will hold hands, one brother, hold hand in hand. And a great voice will be heard. Come up and rise up and go to Zion, to the house of our God. And just like the days of Mordechai and Esther, today will be said, Am echad meugad vegabush omed bechusono. As opposed to Am echad meforad, will be one consolidated. There is one nation that was consolidated gabush, omed bechosno, standing in all its full immunity, livnot et kol to build all of its destructed places from the inner treasure houses that is not revealed to the eye, but is hidden in an internal bracha. In these words, go gather up all the Jews, umechayev inish lebesume, and from this instruction that on Purim we have to become intoxicated on Purim to the point of not knowing between cursed Haman and blessed is Mordechai, v'nomar lechaim, lechaim, lechaim tovim u'shalom, l'chol Yisrael v'imru, Amen. Thank you, Rav Kook. Can you believe I came across this just for us today? Incredible. Not normal. It's a geula. I mean, I feel such a shgacha with these classes. Like, it's so beautiful. Okay, so we should have a good Purim. We should have all the geula. Everything should be. It was so nice to see you. Oh my gosh. Wow. Okay, I'm gonna love you and leave you now. Thank you, Purim. Sameach.